For a cup race, that was pretty cool to see. It was really great to see battles, great to see underdogs come up at the front. The old guards had the where do they come from moments. Hello and welcome to the Weekend Debrief. I am your host, James. Let's talk about Kansas. It's an interesting facility, and since it's repaved, it's weathered really well, which did attribute a lot to this weekend's race between the tire combination, the track surface, the cool temperatures, and the aero package. We saw a really amazing cup race. The aero package, I'll be honest, I don't keep up with it from week to week. I'm like Chase Elliott, just show up to the track and let's run it. Honestly, who cares? Like, I think we overhype this and we overtalk about every aero package and every configuration each week. We should just kind of unplug from that and know what the horsepower is and everything and just enjoy the product. As NASCAR is really trying to develop this product, and they kind of keep changing it too much because of opinions via Twitter or just fans at the track who are saying just absolute nonsense, because unless you're in the car, you really can't notice the true difference of the package, except for this race. I feel like it was 100% noticeable in every aspect. So let's start with qualifying. The single car qualifying format brought truly the fastest cars to the front, and you saw that with the 4 SHR cars basically sweeping the front 4 spots in qualifying. True dominance by Stewart-Haas organization. Didn't really translate over to the race, and we'll get into that in a minute. After qualifying and before the race, there is pre-race inspection, and 11 cars failed pre-race inspection. And when you fail pre-race inspection nowadays, you go to the back of the pack. There is a lot of controversy because there's fans that are like, these teams should learn about the error of their ways, and they shouldn't be cheating and bending the rules like this. They should have harsh penalties. And also you understand there is a strict penalty with starting at the back of the pack for the race. There's really no harm, no foul, because you tried to do something before the race, NASCAR caught you, and your punishment has been assessed. It's a double-edged sword. Either way, it's a hard enough punishment to start from the back in any race. It doesn't matter if it's 400, 500, 600 miles long. It's hard to come back to the front. There was a competition caution, overnight rains, always bring a green racetrack. When there's a green racetrack, NASCAR wants to be cautious, make sure the teams can check the tires. Goodyear has a good feel that the tire is not wearing in an excessive way, and teams can make adjustments for this greener racetrack. It's a benefit, but it was also interesting to see the strategy was thrown off because of that quick 30-lap run, then a caution. You saw teams jump onto the 2-tire strategy very early on, which was really nice to see that the tire holds up, have a really great compound, and that the left sides can hold up and have a lot of longevity, and you can run 2 cycles on it and then just swap out rights. And it seemed like for a lot of teams, their cars kind of lit up once that 2 tires came on a short run speed. I don't know if there was something with the handling or some characteristics to having that offset combination of tires that just allowed those teams to handle better. But on the short run, they had some speed, but ultimately 4 tires was always the way to go all night. And you saw that when Kevin Harvick, who was a leader, got put back with that 2-tire strategy. He had 4 tires. He came to the front, as well as Chase Elliott and a handful of other drivers who were fast in that first 30 laps, and they came to the front. They asserted themselves. Harvick won stage 1. Stage 2, though, it was really just a typical 1.5-mile kind of race. Everyone would get spread out amongst the track. There would be some interesting battles going on, but ultimately the leaders would be spread out. Leader would have a gap over second and vice versa for third on back. So nothing really exciting going on, but the restarts were breathtaking. Watch in awe. With every restart, drivers going 4, 5 wide, across the apron on the inside, all the way to the wall on the front straightaway. It was amazing to see the amount of bravery and just pure bonsai. Danger is my business. I'm very sure a lot of fans were just as shocked to see that so many cautions didn't come because of it. These are definitely some of the best drivers in the world handling these cars and handling them in great cooperation amongst each other in the most tight confines you could ever imagine. You think rush hour traffic is tight, all right? I don't even think you would want to fit in between everyone racing side by side by side by side. It was just insane, and you saw how much air was manipulated because of this. A big thing with air is early on you saw how Ryan Blaney kind of tucked up behind somebody and then shot up to the top. And the same thing with Ryan Newman. You know, once you lost the air off the front of your car, it was never a great sign. And it didn't matter if you were a Ford or a Toyota or a Chevrolet. The effect of the air was not limited to a manufacturer's sake. Anybody could have been affected by it. And for that as well, clean air was so important. And it's always been important in NASCAR racing. In any form of motorsports, clean air is the best kind of air, okay? And in NASCAR, it's way more evident than in a lot of other forms of motorsports. We saw that this race too, because even as like Harvick faded back, you saw who was able to get in front with clean air, was able to project themselves forward. Chase Elliott asserted his dominance in stage 2, got in front of Harvick after green flag pit stops, and just checked out with the clean air, even with lap traffic, was able to find a way to gap Harvick second stage. But still, you know, second stage, though there was that thrilling battle between Harvick and Elliott, there wasn't a whole lot to be said about the race as a whole other than the amazing restarts. Then stage 3 happened, and that's when everything just changed. Harvick has an issue, basically just grabs a windshield tear off on the front of his car. He thinks it's a vibration, and with the way these tires are, you don't know whether it's a tire vibration, tires equalizing. Could have been either one of those, plus the offset balance with the air on the front of the car because a large portion of it was being blocked off by this piece of garbage now. That also affected the handling of his car. But ultimately, as a driver, you have to make that decision. Either I am comfortable riding this out, or I need to come in and address this, pit, and continue on, rather than wrecking the car. And Harvick chose that. It was unfortunate for Harvick to have that kind of penalty because he had such a dominant car. But you know what? In racing, sometimes the fastest car doesn't win. After Harvick's issue, there was a cycle of green flag pit stops. Loose tire hits the that infield grass area. Oh, crew members can't touch it. Nope, sorry, nope, throw a caution. It's like Atlanta.
The tire gets away from the 47 team of Marcos Ambrose. A crewman runs out to get it. You just cannot do that. That brings out the caution.
Understandable. It's really understandable why NASCAR has to do that. But it destroyed a lot of opportunities for teams to have solid runs.
NASCAR would have left that tire there until all the pit cycles were done. And then they would have thrown the caution and went out and picked the tire up.
It trapped basically everyone outside the top 13 a lap down because of the cycle. And there was a lot of confusion because of it. And NASCAR spent about a good 4 laps under caution trying to sort the field out before a 1 to go to basically get things back going, which honestly was NASCAR's biggest moment of
looking like a monkey fucking a football out there.
Yeah, they had to go to commercial break because of it. It was just, I know that's a really hard thing to kind of organize all these cars, especially after green flag pit stop cycle, and then a caution comes and just freezes everything halfway through the cycle. You don't know where everybody kind of is, and then you have everybody having to pit and go under the continuous caution cycle. It's understandable how frustrating it is for NASCAR, how hard of a job NASCAR has to time and score that, and to get everybody in the right place for the restart, because they should not restart until everybody's in their place. I do understand that, and that is a very organized rule, but they should have kind of saw what was going to happen and anticipated and said, okay, we're going to go 1 to go. All right, everyone 1 to go. All right, pace this car, lights back on. We're going to try to reorganize everything, make sure everybody catches up to the back of the field. Then they should have went 1 to go when they felt comfortable. They shouldn't have tried to force the 1 to go and then force it again and then force it again, thinking they had the issues corrected. Though smart on Fox to jump in and put that commercial break in, you know, kind of spread those ad dollars in. So that was good. Kyle Busch in that pit cycle ended up getting a penalty going through too many pit stalls, which he kind of blamed on NASCAR, thinking that it's their fault for getting back at him for his comments earlier in the week. Oh man, to be his crew chief, you know, is there an award we can give his crew chief, like a Golden Benny or something. Because, man, just to have to deal with that comment and just to know that, like, dude, you're so wrong. I visibly saw you drive through 4 pit stalls to get to our pit stall. Like, Kyle, just, you need to accept your own mistakes, bro. Just seriously. I have to accept my mistakes a lot. And I don't have video evidence of mine either, so. The funniest part of the whole situation probably was the fact that the safety recovery team took the tire from the 6 car, which was funny. It was 30 feet away from the 6 car's pit stall. Took it and put it into the back of the service truck. It got a VIP ride. I wonder if they buckled it in too, because it was behind the driver. Good to find a lighthearted moment in a odd situation and a little bit of a frustrating situation. But still, everything was okay because another restart came and another thrilling 4 to 5 laps of just battles. The Hendrick duo of Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott. Bowman, the showman, showing what he knows how to do, and that's be at the front of a pack. And he was doing a great job leading laps and just contending. He asserted himself by taking the lead from his teammate, which was thrilling and amazing to watch. He really pulled me into his corner tonight, thinking he could win that race, and he did a stellar job. You know, the race progresses on. Amazing 3-way battle for the lead between Erik Jones, Brad Keselowski, and Alex Bowman. And through that whole battle, it was just amazing to watch because it went from a 5-car battle, dwindled itself down to a 3-car battle. Alex Bowman's out there on older tires. Brad Keselowski, Erik Jones have pitted in a cycle before, gotten their 4 tires. They're on fresher rubber. They can maneuver their cars just slightly more than Bowman. But even through that little battle at the end, you could see where Brad was stronger in 3 and 4, and Alex was just holding him off and at bay in 1 and 2, maybe gaining a little bit of ground, but still Brad was stronger. And probably the best battle of the night. Then the caution came out when Matt Dibenedetto blew an engine. Unfortunate for Matt Dibenedetto. Late race restart. If you're in the top 5, you've definitely got a shot at it. Keselowski just gets an amazing restart. Just no other way to put it than Brad Keselowski straight schooled Alex Bowman, Erik Jones, and the rest of the field, and just took off when everybody else was not looking. Ends up just making 2 quick qualifying laps while they're racing side by side behind him, 4 or 5 wide, trying to get every position they can, coming to the line. Keselowski wins it. Bowman second. Amazing battles, though. I mean, you saw that epic battle between like Boyer and Jones and basically everybody else for the top 5, and the emotion between Erik Jones and Clint Boyer, and Clint Boyer's frustration. And you understand Clint's frustration 100%. He got blocked. And here's the thing about NASCAR racing. You can block, but there's a consequence to your block, and that's getting turned. And Clint Boyer was a very, very nice Kansas gentleman to Mr. Erik Jones to be like, hey kid, I'm not going to wreck you. But next time, Clint's going to wreck him. And that's fine. That's a mentality of NASCAR you can have. You can block somebody, you're going to get turned. And that's just what NASCAR racing is. And that's why we watch it. In a lot of other forms of motorsports, you would see a harsh penalty be given to Erik Jones for blocking like that. It's just the way that other forms are, and NASCAR is. It's just the culture of it. But you also want to see boys have at it. You want to see the emotion come out. It was great to see a lot of teams that you normally don't see in the top 10 week to week battling in a very strong position in the top 10 and top 5. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and his Roush Fenway Ford, top 5 the majority of the night. He was the Ford banner once Harvick kind of went back and was out of contention. How about Chris Buescher in that 37 car for JTG Doherty Racing? Gotta love that team. They've been really strong all year long, kind of showing strength either with the 47 or with the 37. Never kind of with both cars in one race. You always see one or the other up front. It's really great to see Chris having a good run tonight. And he was a strong top 10 contender all night and even contended in the top 5. That's the run that team needs, because they are a team that can ultimately contend for races. They just need to get those races under their belts where they're running in the top 10, understanding how to race in the top 10, how to beat the guys in the top 10. And Chris Buescher, we know, is a proven champion in the Xfinity Series and a race winner. So he can definitely do it and definitely show everyone that that first win at Pocono was not a fluke. but it wasn't meant to be tonight, but it's still a strong run at a 1.5 mile track for that team, and showing strength for the Chevy organization. Chevy as well, come on. Rookie Tyler Redick gets a top 10. Strong run for that guy. He finished 9th in the end of it, and he had a top 10 run basically all throughout stage 3. He had a solid run through the first 2 stages, stayed in the top 15. For a rookie, that's really strong. Stay in the top 15, keep the nose clean, keep the car clean, and he brought it home clean, and that's what you need to see out of a driver like that. So that was always great to see. This race had a lot. It definitely did not disappoint for me. I hope it didn't disappoint for a lot of other fans, because it will definitely just give a lot of people more of a boost and excitement for the rest of the season. Because honestly, this package is a restart package. It definitely fizzles out after about 10 laps. And if fans haven't figured that out by now, stop holding your breath. What makes this package great is, yes, amazing restarts, but also the ability for when there is fall off in the tires and there is, long runs, for people to be able to manipulate not just the air, but the different grooves in the track and try to take advantage of something rather than just having to be on the bottom or be on the top. Even Alex Bowman, before his tires truly faded a lot, he had a lot of maneuverability in his car, and you have to attest that to the downforce. Yeah, you can say whatever you want about aero ducts and whatnot, but
that's just like your opinion, man.
And the air just moves around these cars in certain ways. You saw it so many times throughout the race. When a driver got the air taken off the nose of their car, they went back. And that's just the name of the game. If you have the clean air on your car, you're gonna have the biggest advantage out of anybody. It's just like 2005. You need clean air to win. I love trucks.
And they're still 3 wide.
And normally, to me, the truck race is always the best race of the weekend. The aero package with the trucks just being such a big side force vehicle with a lot of downforce, the maneuverability and the handling of them is amazing, but the hole they punch in the air just allows for these beautiful packs of trucks to kind of form out. And this cup package that's been developed for years and years and years, to me, it's always just trying to mimic the truck package that exists and the kind of racing you see with the trucks, especially at tracks like Kansas, Chicagoland, and Las Vegas. Amazing pack racing where everyone's going side by side, taking the air off of each other, going here, going there, up and down. You can move wherever you need to, and it's just manipulating the throttle and putting the truck where you need to. And that's what we saw at Kansas, and it was great to see that, because also there was no cup drivers in the field. Yeah, you had Brandon Jones from the Xfinity Series coming over, but other than that, it was just a trucker field, so you had truck regulars showcasing their truck goodness on a Friday night. No 2 trucks were stronger than Grant Enfinger in that 98 ThorSport truck and Stuart Friesen in his GMS truck, the 52. He basically had the truck to beat. Grant kind of fell off a little bit in the last cycle and just couldn't bounce back, and then ended up getting into Brett Moffitt. They both had contact, saw the situation a little differently, but ultimately weren't able to bounce back from the situation. Stuart Friesen had the truck to beat and the strategy to beat until he changed the strategy and he made the decision to take off after getting only 2 tires instead of 4 on his final pit stop, which was fine if you wanted to get, off a pit road quickly, but he did not get enough fuel in the truck. With that, he was on a nail-biting strategy of trying to save fuel. Ross Chastain comes through the field, was in the right place at the right time when Stuart Friesen ran out of gas with 2 to go, takes the white flag as leader, and then takes the checkered flag, winning his first ever truck race. Watermelon Man, Florida Man, whatever you want to call Ross Chastain. He is the man in the truck series. He won that race, gets his first win. First win for Nice Motorsports. Great job for that team. It's great to see Ross just coming through in, you want to say underfunded equipment. It's just not up there with a lot of the big budget teams, especially in the truck series. Chip Ganassi puts it, he likes winners. And Ross Chastain was a winner on Friday night. And it's great to see him do that. It's a shame he's not running for truck points, because he would definitely be a contender for the truck title. For him to have the success he has, running as many races as he does just to get as much seat time as he can. He does have amazing stamina and skill to be able to jump back and forth between all this equipment. And not only that, but to pilot this equipment as competitively as he does. I don't think anybody gives Ross Chastain enough credit. It's just all about him finding the right ride, and he will in the future. And with that, now is this weekend debrief. It's a great weekend in Kansas, and next weekend is All-Star Week, which is great because you get another truck race and cup race. Yeah! I mean, a little short cup race, it's okay, but Friday night truck race, another great setting at Charlotte. Will they be the best race of the weekend, though?